the transpersonal, they tend to have these, you know, really strong and amazing spiritual ideas and sort of like live out there in the universe.
I think it was going to happen, but it did happen. But they also have a whole bunch of young energy and young.
Evolutionarily move forward and push through fears.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have Adam, it gets confusing. Adam from Stargazing Astrology. I know it looks like I do the same thing as Linda G does. You know, she has an astrologer, I have an astrologer, I have a medium, you know, but it just kind of happens that way that we get to collaborate with a whole bunch of our community. And we have wonderful astrologers out, including Adam. And what he is going to do here today is he's going to talk about the aftermath of our lunar eclipse in Scorpio, to be exact. I felt every bit of it. You know, I was just talking about this in my video yesterday, is, you know, in my younger years, I used to blame it on PMS or a bad day or a bad month, or, you know, or just that feeling of either I'm up or I'm down. I used to blame it on so many things. And now I'm realizing I was just immature in my emotions in order to deal with it. So this time I felt that every bit of it, but I knew what was going on. I knew that I had work to be done on the inside. If I was in a struggle on the inside, it just gave me an indication that I needed work to be done. And if I was on a higher note that day because of this, I knew that I was, you know, starting to gain perspective. And I thought that was really interesting. And I know you're going to go a little bit more into that, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight of what I'm still going through it, to be honest with you. It's not over. Yesterday, I hit a high, and then in the afternoon, I was in my bed and I was just ready to take the longest nap, like I was in winter again, like I was hibernating. It was really weird. And maybe you can explain a little bit of that so that everybody out there doesn't think that they're crazy. Well, I know that I am, but they don't have to be. So take it over. Go for it. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself just in case my dogs get chaotic and don't disturb you. But yeah, go ahead. And introduce yourself. What do you do on your channel? You know, all that good stuff.
Hi, everyone. And Sheila, thanks so much for having me on again. Our collaborations are always wonderful and exciting. My name is Adam from Adam Stargazing Astrology, and I offer astrological charts, natal charts, transit charts, composite charts. So basically, I'm an astrologer of all types of charts. And come to me, you know, if you have any questions relating to any aspects of your life, you know, I can definitely help provide a guiding hand. So this last full moon lunar eclipse occurred approximately May 15th, May 16th. And this was a real evolutionary push to extract the darkness and extract our shadow sides. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this full moon lunar eclipse was really characterized by the full moon in the astrological sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is all about facing the darkness. It's all about taboos, can be all about power struggles, all about manipulation. But on a higher note, it's all about extraction. So that being said, it was in the moon sign. So our dreams this past week may have been extremely vivid. This is a really good time during the eclipse season to have a writing journal, you know, and something where you can, you know, sort of keep contact with your inner guides. This was also a great time to be able to evolutionarily move forward and push through fears that have been limiting you, push through obstacles that have been limiting you as well. So that would really characterize that full moon in Scorpio. opposite sitting that full moon was the sun sign in Taurus, which tomorrow will go into Gemini. So the sun sign's still sitting next to Uranus. So they're still sharing that same energy. So what we saw here, you know, Taurus ruling finances, Uranus ruling instability, we saw a big plunge in the crypto market. We saw a big plunge with stocks. Whenever Uranus is sitting in Taurus, along with the sun sign, and that north node as well, which stands for the evolutionary direction, we're gonna get a lot of volatility with material things like finances and resources. But now's the time for us to hang in there and to realize that the backlash of why that happened really has to do with that south node and that moon sign in Scorpio. Because all of that darkness had to come up, it had to get purged. All of the energy around ownership that's not clear, that's having to do with power struggles and kind of dark type of energy, it really had to come up and really had to get purged, right? So the light side of that, what we can see in the physical realm, has to do with Taurus, and it has to do with the changing of the stocks, and has to do with the inflation rises, you know. So it's all, you know, as we know, and as we evolve spiritually, we see life as sort of this mirage. You know, what's going on an internal collective level is sort of being mirrored outward right now. So we're evolutionarily kind of being squeezed to the max as far as finances. However, what we need to realize is that life presents us with transient moments. Everything is an opportunity for growth and an opportunity for change. Nothing is static, nothing stays the same. But when we're feeling really squeezed right now, it's really a time for us to have faith and us to hang out in that position of and higher knowledge of that this is transient and that this too will pass. So what we are seeing with that now is we're seeing perhaps a little frustration, perhaps around the areas maybe of making money, of the areas around wanting to get the ball rolling. And the reason why is because Mercury, which stands for communication, is in retrograde right now. Mercury going through retrograde is really a time of evaluation and reintegration. And that being said, Mercury rules communications. So there may be issues around communications, maybe frustrations around communications. So if you have a business right now and if you're feeling frustrated, it may have a lot to do with Mercury in retrograde. What people are needing right now is is maybe to sort of dive a little bit into this Aries energy that's going on. Jupiter, which rules our morals and our philosophies, has just come into the astrological sign of Aries. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. So right now we need to be coming up with new morals and new philosophies and new ways of looking at our experiences. Jupiter has a lot to do with our inner guide and our inner guru. So that being said, everyone has an inner guru. Aries is all about finding new beginnings and creating a whole new cycle for our philosophies and the way that we're dealing with things. So it's going to be different with everyone. Some people need to let go of a lot of stuff. Some people need to organize themselves, and we're talking all on the psycho-spiritual level here as well. So let's see. Another strong aspect that characterizes this, this heavy energy that we're going on now is a Mars-Neptune conjunction. Mars is our energy, and Neptune rules spirituality, and it rules soul exploration. So now is a great time for any exploration around gaining higher knowledge of our spiritual selves and our souls. So mentioning that full moon in Scorpio, Sheila, we've been talking and about your mediumistic qualities, about speaking with those that have been deceased. So can we hear a little more about what you have as far as your gifts and talents and what you have to offer?
Well, speaking of that, I have in plans. I've known this for quite some time that I was able to do mediumship. In my future planning of my, I guess, quote unquote business, I guess is what you call as a business. I am putting together a thing where I am going to be able to be called to somebody's home. And of course, it's going to be videotaped, and I'll be able to walk through that home, give them messages if there's anybody deceased in there, and things like that, and see what's going on with their home. And of course, after all of that, provide them with information on what to do with your home. It's kind of like Amy Allen, but so much on a smaller scale, but something that somebody can afford. I've always said this to myself. I said, it's something. I said, I have to be able to, recoup my plane ticket and this, that, and the other if I'm out of state. But I don't want spiritual help to be so out of reach for people. That's where I get really into making sure that it's always affordable, and I will always work with you. And if anybody knows me from from the beginnings of my channel, I'm an awesome barter. You know what I mean? Bartering has always been something that probably will never go away with me. So that's my future planning in all of that. So it's probably coming up, probably in the next 6 months, maybe 3 to 6 months. I'll be able to put everything on board and get a partner with me who can videotape it. So that we can walk. So I can just do a walkthrough of a home and give them the people some answers and some messages from anybody that's deceased in there or what's going on. So yeah, and the thing about that is, even with this lunar eclipse, I know you were talking about this really brings up some really heavy energies around hauntings and things like that. So what were you talking about?
Very interesting. Sheila, I remember reading your astrological chart, and you have this powerful Neptune placement in retrograde. And those individuals who have a Neptune in retrograde in their astrology chart are very much about viewing life on earth in terms of the soul and the growth and the evolution of the soul.
Yes.
So that is just a really strong, wonderful placement. I also remember too, you have this amazing ability to create order and clarity and beauty and symmetry out of chaos.
I know, isn't that weird? I think you were the one that was, I think it was telling me that I have so much Gemini in my chart because I am actually a communicator from the spirit side. Mm-hmm. I thought, oh, that was the answer I was wanting to know. Why I have so much Gemini, so much communication, is because I can communicate from both sides.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then that Aquarius moon you have, it's really the ability to be able to tap into the collective force field, into the metaphysical force field, and bring that down,
Right. And you know what else my Aquarian moon does for me that I've been noticing now that I'm paying attention is the Aquarians. You know how Aquarians, if you're just an Aquarius, you can, if somebody messes with you, or if you just don't want to be here, you can go to the opposite end of the universe, right? You can just sit there for a while. And I'm realizing that my Aquarian that's there, it gives me the ability to disconnect from, like when I'm doing a remote view, I don't have to go into the energy. All I have to do is observe it. And it has given me that protection to kind of move out of it. And I never realized it until I started, to really recognize what my Aquarian moon really does for me. You know how people like, you're doing readings and stuff like that, oh, that's too much energy. I'm like, wow, I don't get that, because my Aquarian moon pulls me out and protects me where I'm just an observer and I can just read what's going on. So
it's the credit, this incredible like emotional detachment, and
I can tap into.
Yeah, and that's such a powerful thing to have, because a lot of really strong intuitive people, they pick up the feelings and the thoughts and the emotions and everyone around them, and they tend to carry them.
Right, and that was something I don't do, is carry them. I observe, I can tell you, and I can feel them, but I do not hold them. I'm not, I just don't hold them anymore. Before, when I was younger, I didn't know what I was doing. It was totally awful. But now that I know, I was like, I don't, that's yours.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing to have. It's really planets in Aquarius are strongly influenced by the astrological sign of Saturn. And
Mm,
Saturn can create boundaries and structures. And then they're also, Aquarian energies are also really influenced by the astrological sign of Uranus as well. And Uranus is really all about intuition and higher mind and higher chakras, and really the ability to be able to perceive beyond the 3D reality
right.
as represented by the planet Saturn. So it's a very having the moon there, it's just in a very transpersonal environment, in a transpersonal spot. So it's really interesting. In astrology, we have like three strong sectors that all the signs and all the planets fall into. And the first would be the sector of the personal development, which is more like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, first, second, third, fourth houses, that deal more with like sort of like the mundane stuff. And then we go into Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, which are more like interpersonal. And then the last four signs, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th houses, and other aspects, those indicate more of a transpersonal view. And most of us have a bit of a combination, and it's nice to have a large combination because that gives like a really big overview. But you can definitely tell, those people that have like a ton in the transpersonal, they tend to have these, really strong and amazing spiritual ideas and sort of like live out there in the universe. So you having all that Gemini, that's the ability for more of like a personal connection, interpersonal, and then the Aquarius gives more of that transpersonal. So what I saw with your chart is just a good combination of kind of a lot of those, which makes generally for kind of like, I mean, that's the ideal. The ideal is to want to be like, well-rounded and have some in each area. That's more astrologically ideal anyways.
Right. It's interesting. I've never known that I could get so much information out of my astrological chart. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and then move on. But yeah, absolutely. And so I know you before we come on, I know that you were talking about how when we go into the future, what are we supposed to be doing from the lunar to now the new moon? What is our job? What is our path? What is it that we're supposed to be really kind of concentrating on and doing the most benefit from this lunar moon?
That is a great question. So what would really benefit us the most is to really be implementing all of the intense energy that happened during the solar eclipse and then this past full moon lunar eclipse. We're really supposed to be integrating that. So now is a great time, especially with that North Node in Taurus, and that North Node stands for our evolutionary karmic direction. It's a great time to be out in nature. It's a great time to not be too caught up in the media. It's a great time to develop new philosophies and a new moral system and new values in to that Jupiter and Aries starting that new cycle. It's also a great time to have fun and a great time to have adventures. Venus is in Aries right now as well. And Venus and Aries, Venus rules the aspect of relationship. Aries rules adventure. It rules excitement. So now is a great time to not be overly stressed and overly concerned about things like gas prices, right? By understanding that there's a fluctuation in relation to that Jupiter and Aries creating new morals. Understanding when Mercury is in retrograde for a couple weeks, things are going to be frustrating. You might feel like you're not moving ahead. And also, perhaps making travel plans, trying to energetically just lighten the load by taking off stress, shedding layers of stress for basically things that we cannot control.
Well, that's very interesting because we as a country are going through an abortion, which on one hand, people call it morality. The other hand, people call it medical for a medical issue for women. And that's very interesting with that. We're right in the middle of all of that, where we've just literally have thrown anything and everything that we've known about all of this up in the air, and we have no idea where it's going to land. And I find that very interesting, where morality, not necessarily my morality has to be your morality. It is like a self-examination of a morality. Like these, women who, possibly were using abortion as a birth control, right? I have no judgment against them, but that could be something that they can go inside and figure out if that's a moral compass for them or not. Could be it means that it's going to be removed. Or those who are in the middle of, not reporting a RAPE or, a something else that's going on in their family. Maybe their morality is also coming forth and going, I need to speak about this. It's very interesting. As you're speaking, I'm like, our whole country is literally going through exactly that. And it's very hard to sit back and, have fun through that. But I understand what you're trying to say, is that this is a time for us to really get in and find out where our moral compass is, that it doesn't have to match yours, but I need to know what I have, what I want, what I need. Yeah. That's interesting to me. So
it's definitely, we're definitely on some shaky times, where as a collective and as individuals, we're really needing to make conscious choices to move in a path of positive.
Yes.
And it's like a critical time right now.
Absolutely. Well, also a lot of people are also faced with, are you going to judge these women or not too? That morality is also in there. Like there's a whole bunch of people that may have thought that, a woman having an abortion was maybe something that they shouldn't be doing. But all of a sudden, everybody's faced with that now. Is like, no, I don't believe in your book study, of your church. So therefore, I do believe that it's healthcare for a woman and it is her choice to decide. That decision is also, I'm watching it all over social media, is how many people are coming to grips with that question as well. So Adam, I think we're in it. So when we are past the new moon, what's coming next after the full moon? Just a little glimpse of it when we talk about, I know that we're going into Gemini.
Yeah. So
which is fun.
So on the 21st, which is actually tomorrow, we're going into Gemini. So, the Gemini season is, really marks the beginning of summer. It marks short trips, communications, travels. The energy of Gemini tends to be a little lighter and a little more movable and a little more flexible, right? So implementing those Gemini energies, it's, we're going to want to feel a little more movable, a little adaptable, and almost sort of perhaps take a little energetic break the next couple of weeks from all the intensity that we've been going through this spring season.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, what I could do is throw some cards on our what we're going through right now and what this moon has done for our country. What this,
sure.
Yeah,
like a collective reading.
Yeah, the collective reading is as to what it has done for the country, and see what comes up. I always love throwing tarot cards. It's my favorite. Let's see what we have here. Cooperation. Cooperation is one of the first cards. I'm only throwing 3. And justice. So the cooperation and justice in that. And we also have, don't let your focus don't let your focus close your new ideas. So this is really good reading here. It says reach out and help others, and communication, talk to people, get them like voting. I mean, we're really into that too, but just get that communication out. And it says believe in your own personal power. Believe in your own personal power. These are things that we're also coming to terms with, as how powerful these women are and how powerful these men who support these women. That's something else. I have so many people on TikTok, speaking of that, asking women, what do you want for the men? What do you want us to do? What do you want from us? And we keep on saying, teach another man the reality. Teach another man how to respect a woman. Teach another man to give that. And this is something that the women are able to communicate to the men. They're like, we're on it. We can do that. We want to be as important as the next person, right? And it says, don't let your focus close your new ideas. And so this is sometimes this is apathy, right? But in this reading, it talks about that. It's like this person here has all of these, but the new idea is coming in. Don't ignore it. Don't sit there and just be so stubborn that you just can't see a new idea. And that's where Scorpio is getting everybody's insides, ready for something new, a new idea, and how we're going to handle it. So, yeah.
Oh, very, very insightful. So, wow, yeah. So, wow, yeah, that's definitely a lot of information around our nation and our direction. And I just really quickly, I just wanted to talk about some of Ukraine's transits now, kind of shifting it to a more global perspective, and what exactly they're going through. And so what I'm really seeing with these transits is unfortunately I'm not seeing anything ending very soon. I'm really seeing that this is going to get dragged out, at least a while longer. So I'm just going to read really quickly on some of these transits, just to give the audience just to give everyone a better idea of what's going on. So the first transit is the planet Jupiter, which is all about expansion and opportunity. It's an opportunistic aspect to the planet Saturn. So this basically means for opportunity for steady progress through cautious expansion. So what we're really seeing is that they're energetically really starting to dig themselves out of a hole, and they have been for a while, but it's going to take cooperation from everyone physically and energetically who believes in them, right? To be able to slowly crawl out of that hole towards victory. Uranus, which is all about going against the grain, it's trying their north node right now, which is their evolutionary direction. This is about, implementing more progressive, daring, and innovative ideas, in order to claim that victory. Saturn right now is their Saturn for a little while will be opposed Jupiter. That's opportunities to grow and expand are limited, due to economic problems. So what we're really seeing, is just a lot of course, economic wipeout with them. Their Neptune opposed Mars. Neptune is the soul, it's spirituality. But on another hand, it can create confusion and disillusionment as well. It's sitting opposed Mars, which is the energy. So it's learning to win. It's learning to really win battles in a more subtle way through psychological means. So this aspect is less forceful and it's less direct. But the energies are more dealing with like the psychology of what's going on around them and implementing that psychology in order to move forward. The next one would be Saturn conjunct the moon. Saturn creates tests. The moon's the emotional strength. So this is basically a real test of emotional strength right now that they've been going through, to see if they can really hold their own and really withstand the energies of Saturn, and a large aspect of those energies of Saturn, Saturn really is about the Lord of Karma. And the last one would be the planet Saturn sitting opposed Mercury, which is communications. So, and again, these next couple of weeks, with Mercury being in retrograde, this can also make this aspect even a little more difficult, perhaps. So it's communication difficulties, isolation, and the possibility of challenging circumstances arising as far as like miscommunications and block communications.
My goodness, let me throw 3 cards for Ukraine, and we'll call it a day.
Okay.
I still feel for Ukraine. It's kind of waned out of the limelight of our media, which it happens,
Yeah.
We're trying to keep and make sure that we're focused on it and sending the love and light. And
yeah, it's good just to keep a little energetic hand in for sure.
Yeah, but let me throw some cards on that. The Page of Wands. We have the Sun. It says success lies ahead. So we do have a successful one, and we also have a Magician, meaning that they're resourceful. So we have the Page of Wands. Like, they didn't really think it was going to happen, but it did happen. But they also have a whole bunch of young energy and young men in there, and they're really doing their best. So there's like, keep your eye on the goal, and they're really focused on getting that done. And then of course we have success lies ahead. So that's a really good card for them. And it says, make your imagination real, believe in what you're doing, they're believing in what they're doing. They believe that they want their country. They believe they want to be free from, Russia and stuff like that. So they really still have a great mindset. It's just, it's just a long-term holding on to that great mindset is sometimes, but it sounds like they're still doing pretty good. And they have that magic of who they are. We've all seen their magic. And even their leader has this magical, thing about him, Zelensky. Not only does he have that thing about them, all men now have to be, compared to him, poor guys. You know what I mean? We all are like, if you're not a Zelensky, right? But I think they still have some pretty good, solid focus going on. So that's good.
Cool. All right.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Any last words from Adam?
Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope everyone stays safe out there and makes conscious choices, and hope everyone has a great week.
Exactly. All right, everybody, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. I sure do appreciate you. And go subscribe to Adam. What are you waiting for?
Thanks, Sheila.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.